Who dat? Who dat? Welcome. Episode 115 of the Nooner. I'm your host, David Bradley. Got a couple people hopping in. Welcome, you guys. Appreciate you being here. Episode 115, if you can believe that. 115 of these bad boys in the can. Laura, nice to see you. Appreciate you being here. This is the Nooner every weekday, Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon, Pacific Standard Time. I'm popping in here. I'm dropping a noontime nugget about either sales, business, and or life. Why do we do this? Why am I doing this with great frequency on the weekdays? Look, at some point, motivation is what? It's fuel, right? You put gas in the car, it's fuel. It powers the car. You need fuel for your body, you need fuel for your brain, you need fuel for your soul. So what I want to do is I want to pop in here a couple times a week and drop a little noontime nugget, something that you can take with you into the rest of your day, your week, your month, your year. Today, we're going to have a killer topic on why you need to dominate and not compete. And I've got a real life example / case study of somebody who is not on our program, but doing what needs to be done. And I'm going to give a shout out to this guy today. So let me get a couple things clear on who I am. Where did the time go? What do you mean, where did the time? Like, it's already noon? Like, you lost track of your day? Bill wants to know where did the time, ? So I'm guessing, where did the time go? Yeah, man, time flies when you're having fun, right? Okay. So for those of you just joining us, weekdays, Monday through Friday, Pacific Standard Time, my goal is to pop in here on the Meerkat. 3 things you want to know about me. Number 1, sales and marketing manager with Grant Cardone. I've been doing it 5 years. Grant's training took me from barely surviving in sales to thriving in it. Grant has helped me make things come true in my life that I didn't think were possible, that I didn't even think I deserved, that I have now made reality, okay? So if you want to know a thing or two about who Grant is and what we do in our company, check out this blog called Cardone Solutions. That's my blog, www.cardonesolutions.com. You can get everything you need to know about who Grant is, what kind of products we offer, what we do for businesses. We have 2 online training platforms. You can get more on that over there. But in a nutshell, what we do is we help businesses of all shapes and sizes. This is a business of 1 to 100 to 100,000. We can help you find and handle missed opportunity and create a production increase. This is production in terms of actual volume of product. This is production in terms of profit. Okay, or customer satisfaction, or a good combination of all 3. 15 to 30% simply by helping you find and handle missed opportunity. Think about this. Where's my business right now? Where do I want it to be? Okay, we're going to help you literally just compress, close the gap between your reality and your potential. 2 other things about me. I'm the author of a book called How to Stop Smoking Without Killing Anyone. Smoked cigarettes 15 years. Could not quit. Tried many times to quit, but I couldn't. But, here's the but, I found a way to stop. There's a massive difference between stopping and quitting. You don't need a patch, you don't need gum, you don't need hypnotism. You probably got enough voices in your head already, you don't need to add another one, okay? You don't need any of that stuff. What you need is will. Will. Not Will Wheaton, not Will Shakespeare, will. StopDon'tQuit.com for more on that. I will give you the will to stop and stay that way. 3rd thing, I'm the founder of a hashtag called Rich Man's Gym. Rich Man's Gym is also a blog. You can go to richmansgym.com, get some pretty cool workouts and things like that. The story behind Rich Man's Gym, home-based strength and conditioning for body, mind, and spirit. I don't think you got to go to the gym to get in the best shape of your life. You can do it in the backyard. You can do it in your garage. You can do it at the park. Do it down at the beautiful ocean down there. Any place you can lug a kettlebell or a set of dumbbells, or any place you can take a nice set of Olympic rings and throw them over a big fat oak tree. That is your rich man's gym. Okay? So, speaking of which, because I'm all about health and wellness, so today, the blog, the topic of today's Nooner, okay, is based on a blog I put up and also one of Grant's top traits of great salespeople. Okay, so I like talking about that once a week. I talk about Grant's strategy also of the week. And so I like to come back on this. Now, Grant's got a list of about 50 different traits of what makes a salesperson great. If you Google that, top traits of great salespeople, Grant Cardone, you're going to find all kinds of really cool stuff. So once a week, I'm going to pop in on a nooner and I'll give you a different trait and we'll dissect it a little bit. So the timing on this, I love how like the universe literally, here's a real life situation. Here you go. I just love it, right? I thoroughly believe that when you put it out there, it shows up. Now, we talked about the law of attraction last week, okay? So you got to be doing something. You got to be taking some action to get what you want. You just can't sit on a rock and meditate and hope that a pizza shows up. You literally need to call Domino's to make it get here, okay? But if you figured out how to sit on a rock and meditate until a pizza shows up, let me know, because I'd be interested in learning that skill. Where was I? Okay, so top traits of a great salesperson, one of which is, if you're ready, great salespeople seek to dominate, not compete. Okay? So there's two words in here that I think are of interest and value, dominate and compete. So as you know, what do I like to do on the nooner? I like to look up words. I don't think, more often than not, we hear a word and we just assume what it means. And we don't know where it comes from, right? When you hear the word discipline, you think one thing, but the reality is the root of that word is disciple. It means to teach. It means to educate, okay? It doesn't mean whips and chains and punishment and torture, okay? So when we go to the word dominate, sometimes that has a weird connotation, right? It goes right back to the whips and chains, right? Dominate me, baby, right? We're not going to go there. But you get the sense of that, like it's like you dominated, it's like pushing down, control, like a negative control. I'll talk about control, that's a whole other nooner. But listen, it's a verb, to dominate, it's an action, it's something that you do, okay? Verb, have a commanding influence on, exercise control over. So let's just talk about control real fast. Control is not necessarily a bad thing, and neither is domination. You want to have control of stuff that's going on. You want to be in control of your car. If you've got scissors, you want to be in control of your scissors, right? Okay, another term for dominate, be the most important or conspicuous person or thing. Okay, right? Michael Jordan, dominant. Of something tall or high, have a commanding position over, overlook. To dominate. Okay? Empire State Building, the World Trade Center. Dominant buildings. Okay? Now, if we go to the origin of that, dominus, the Irish Catholic in me just got all, Dominus, right? It's like, I don't know, that just sounds like something you'd hear in a Latin mass. So that's a Latin word, okay? Latin, dominare, okay? 17th century came up dominant. It means ruled, governed, okay? So now let's look at competition. We'll go to dictionary.com. Actually, let's do this. Okay, competition. The activity or condition of competing. An event or contest in which people compete. The person or people with whom one is competing, especially in a commercial sporting arena or the opposition, compete, strive for. Okay, so let's go back to dominate for a second. Some of these root words, Lord, master, commanding, influence, strive for. Doesn't even mean you have it. So the reality is, what would you rather do? You want to have a commanding influence, or do you want to strive? So the great salespeople, they seek to dominate. They don't seek to compete. Okay? So competition, as far as Grant's concerned, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a healthy word. Wouldn't it make more sense to have a commanding influence, to be way out in front, to be way out ahead of everybody else? So, wouldn't you want to be in a place to where you've dominated so hard, you've dominated so effectively, you have this commanding influence that your competition, they just give up? Why even bother? They literally are like, all right, screw it. Forget about it. Let me just see if I can get to second place. You look at any industry, and there's usually going to be that guy or girl or gal or company or actor. Okay? Who's dominating an industry right now? So that's for you. People in the Meerkat stream, I want comments below. So get your fingers warmed up. Laura, Jose, Bill, who is dominating and what industry are they dominating in? This is current. These are people right now. Okay, who's dominating? So leave me some comments below. But you, in your business, you want to be really the only person on the field. Okay, and I'll give you an example. I'll give you two because I'm a big fan of the UFC. Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey have dominated in that sport. People know that sport now because of them. And they didn't just dominate in the octagon. Both of them have lost, by the way, and they're still dominating. Okay? So that tells you something. They have a commanding influence over their world. What's happening in that world? They have a commanding influence over it. Okay? And because of that, they can afford a loss. Because they've had such a massive, they've dominated, they've had such a commanding influence over that sport. Okay? So, you want to be the only one. Okay? And for a lot of people, they are. If you look at people that aren't really into UFC, when you say UFC, they either think of Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey. Because they've done something, right? Massive for the sport. They've dominated in the sport. So who else? Who can you think of? Let me get some examples down below. You want to be the only one on the field, whatever that field may be. And you are completely separate from the pack. You've pulled so far ahead that the rest of the people are just trying to get to second place. Which was the entire theme of this book. If you're not first, you're last. Grant wrote this right after, shortly thereafter, the Lehman's collapse, when everybody was running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to figure out how are we going to save this deal? How are we going to pull this out? How am I going to be effective in my economy? How am I going to create my own? Because I certainly can't be reliant upon this thing because that bubble just blew up all over, and it was messy. Okay, when that happened, I was in the automotive industry. I was selling General Motors. That was messy. And I saw people lose it all. My 401k back then, half! Like literally overnight. Bing. And I watched it, and I couldn't do anything about it. At least not at the time, because I just didn't know any better. Now I know better. That'll never happen again. Trust me. So here's the thing. So when we start talking about domination versus competition, when we start looking at being number one, being ahead, being out of the pack, there's something that can go inherently wrong up here if you don't have the right mindset for this. So I'm going to refer to two people to help you wrap your head around why it is completely legit for you to want to dominate. Okay? Grant will show you exactly how to do that. Not just in this book, but in all of his books. He will teach you exactly what needs to happen to dominate. Omar, hi. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you saying hello. Welcome to the Nooner. Hi. We're talking about why you want to seek to dominate and not compete in your market or in your space, in your world. So Grant will show you exactly what you need to do that. Okay? And to add to this concept of domination, I want to give you two things. So a guy named Wayne Dyer talked about when it comes to creating success, which will require full domination. Success, no one will lack because you opt for it. Okay, you got to get this idea that if somebody gets a piece of the pie, that you can't have any. If you run out of pie, make more. It's impossible to run out of pie. If you have a scarcity mentality, you will never dominate. You will always be competing. So I'll say that again just to help drill that home. If you have a scarcity mentality, you will never be able to dominate. You will always be competing. I should probably write that down myself. If you have, because I'm going to use that. That'll be on Instagram later today. If you have a scarcity mentality, I need to learn shorthand so I can do this faster. You will never dominate. You will always be competing. Okay, you can quote me on that. That's a Dave original. If you have a scarcity mentality, you will never dominate. You will always be competing. Boom! Dave original right there on the Nooner. You saw it here live. It happened. Okay? So I'm going to go to Wallace D. Wattles. If you've never heard of this guy, probably one of the first self-help guru, writer type of people. He's in that Napoleon Hill category 100, 120 years back. Good buddy of mine, Marcy Liu, tuned me onto this. How I miss this cat, because I really love stuff from that era, is beyond me, but whatever. I got him now. Wallace D. Wattles says, and I quote, so this was like 1914 or something when he wrote this, so this is huge. This is like 100 years ago. It says, you must get rid of the thought of competition. You must get rid of the thought of competition. You are to create, not compete. Commanding influence. Create. Okay? You are to create, not compete for what is already created. You do not have to take anything away from anyone. Okay? So, Napoleon Hill, thoughts are things. Remember? We talked about this the other day on the law of attraction. Everything that has ever happened in your life, everything that has ever materialized in your life, started up here. You must get rid of the thought of competition. You are to create, not compete for what is already created. You do not have to take anything away from anybody. No one will lack success because you choose to have it. So yes, dominate. It's okay. Permission to dominate, granted. Okay, so I want to give you an example. Grant says, own the space, be the only player, do what others refuse to do. This is what it takes to not have to compete anymore. Own the space, be the only player, do what others refuse to do. So, with that being said, I want to give a shout out to somebody who did that this week for me. And if I can flow some power to this dude, awesome. So for those of you on the Twitter, what I'd like you to do is go out and follow a guy named Joshua Katzelli or Katzel. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but here's how it is. It's a little @ JKATZELE. Again, it's JKATZELE. Okay, so why? Well, I ordered this the other day because of Josh. And so Twitter, if you know, is a massive space to be in, okay? This is a product that I saw Joe Rogan talking about, and this is a product that will help you get into ketosis faster, or ketosis, however you pronounce that, ketosis faster, which means basically your body is using fat for fuel. This little packet here has medium chain triglyceride powder in it. It has beta hydroxybutyrate, which is the key ingredient. It's got a nice little orange flavoring, got a little stevia, and that's about it. But the purpose of this is to help your body shift into ketosis faster so that your body is using fat for fuel and not sugar. We don't really have the time to get into why that's a good thing or why I'm doing that right now. Just know that this is part of my current existing lifestyle. I want to be in ketosis for a couple reasons, but mostly because I want to experiment with the energy level and the differentiation between that, the thought clarity, okay? And I do have a couple extra pounds that I would like to blast out of here, okay? It goes back to the whole rich man's gym thing. So I'm experimenting with it, okay? Rogan's experimenting with it. I heard him talking about the product. I heard him talk about Mark Sisson's book, Primal Living. I did ketosis back in 2013, had really good results with it, but I didn't notice this whole thought clarity thing, and I don't think I saw it because I wasn't on it long enough to really have an impact. I flipped over to the Warrior Diet, got great results from that. It was fantastic. But here's the deal. So earlier on in the week, so I'm always skeptical, and this is an MLM company, okay? And MLM is a great way to have an additional stream of revenue. So that's another reason I want to flow power to this guy, because he did what needs to be done to sell product, okay? He sold me on this product, so that's a good thing. So I want to help him, okay? And his job, his goal is to help other people. So when you hit his Twitter handle, he says, Josh, at JKATZELE. He says, a man on the path to becoming who I'm supposed to be. Integrity, honor, transparency. Guys from Spokane, Washington. What a kick-ass Twitter handle, right? So I start hitting the Twitter sphere trying to get more information on this product. Is this real? Is it a scam? So, when I take it, what is it going to do? So it gets me in ketosis, apparently. It does it in less than an hour, so that's the big fat claim, which I love. So I took it this morning. Sure enough, an hour later, peed on the keto stick, turned purple, showed moderate to high traces of ketones in my urine. It's up on Twitter, at David R. Bradley. You can look at the pictures, okay? Started at 7:30, an hour later, there we were, okay? What's interesting is that I just did it again like an hour ago, and the color is sort of back to where it's been for me for a while. Doesn't mean I'm not in ketosis, though. There's a big difference. But I'm tracking all this to see if it's real and if it's something I want to get behind. So, but the point being is that I start tweeting out to the company. Prove It is the name of the company, Pruvit. And if you go to @JustProveIt, that's their Twitter handle if you want to follow them. Like, what's the deal, right? So I start asking questions and tweeting out about this whole thing. The only person that I tweeted to that responded to me is this guy, Josh. So if you're a salesperson or you starting your own business, because this is an MLM deal, right? So if you've started that and you see people tweeting about it, wouldn't it make sense to interact? Wouldn't that give you a commanding influence over if you interact with that individual? So I know that Laura and Jose, you guys do Avocare. So, hopefully you're really working Twitter to look for people that are asking questions about it and see what's going on. But this guy's like all up in me, right? He just messaged me again right now. Because after 4 hours, the stick changed color, and I tweeted that out too. And it wasn't as dark as it was the first time. So he's responding to that. The guy goes out and friends me on Facebook. The guy's like, he's doing what needs to be done. He's doing the deal. And he's already handling my concern with, why is the stick back to normal? Okay? So I'm going to do a whole probably separate nooner on the company, the product, the whole deal. I'm definitely going to do a review on it up on Rich Man's Gym. The jury is still out. I'm not drawing any conclusions on it. But what I am going to tell you is that if this is something that you want to explore, if this is something you want to look out for yourself and your own health and wellness, then this guy Josh is the man. Because why? He's dominating his space. He's owning this space right now. He's doing what others refuse to do, because for whatever reason, a bunch of other people that saw my tweet didn't do anything. They just let it lie. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. Here's your challenge. I want you to make a list of 5 companies that you can think of, who dominate their market and their space. 5 companies. They can be big, they can be small, they can be whatever. 5, okay? Then I want you to make a list of 5 athletes that dominate their game, and I want a different game, so 5 different sports, 5 dominant athletes. Then we're going to do that with an actual business. And I'll just give you like an obvious example. The search engine business. Who dominates? Google. Right? Realistically, they're the only one left. Sure, there's Yahoo and there's Bing and whatever. It's Google. Nobody says Bing it. They say Google it. That's domination. Got it? Okay. So what I want you to do, though, is once you got your list, right? You've got your companies, you've got your business sectors, like who dominates in that sector. Okay. You got your company. Those two may intertwine a little bit, but try and be unique. Then you got your athletes. I want you to start looking for commonalities and traits that all of these guys exhibit that you can duplicate. Okay, because ultimately what I want to give you on these nooners is something to take with you, motivation and inspiration, and success in anything, as Grant so eloquently puts it, is no different than any other skill. Learn the successful traits of others, duplicate those actions, and you too will be successful. Is this making sense? You picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. So know how they do it, so you can do it too. So you can incorporate it into your deal. So again, go look up my guy, Josh, at JKATZELE. Go follow this dude on Twitter. Check out the product. It's right here. You can get a sample pack if you want to try it out. It's a little pricey, I'm not going to lie to you. But price is a myth. People will pay more for a good attitude over a great product all day long. This guy, Josh, exhibited that. He proved it. He dominated in his space. He did what others refused to do, and he earned my business. Good job, Josh. So, what'd you guys learn today? What'd you get from the nooner? What are you taking with you? How can I help? If I can be of service to you, helping you grow your company or your business, reach out to me at any time. At David R. Bradley on the Twitter. David at grantcardone.com is my email address. 310-777-0352. That's my direct line. Have a killer rest of the week. Thank you for tuning into the Nooner. And be great, because nothing else pays. Go out there and dominate today.